Hello, folks. I hope that you all are well. My name is Chris Snipes. You are listening to the very first episode of Musica Universalis, which is a sort of a sub podcast in the MELTiverse about transcendent music, about music that is otherworldly, that takes you to a different place than a lot of music might, than the music you might hear in a grocery store or an elevator or some such place. This is music designed to transport you into realms that force your mind into having to imagine possibly a different landscape than you might typically imagine if you were listening to, say, an Eagles song or something. Today's guest on this very first episode is one Danish composer named Sofie Birch. All right, let's get into it. This was a great conversation, a great way to launch this podcast in the proper manner. What you're listening to is a track off of Sofie's latest album, and I'm really going to try my best to pronounce this correctly. Biva Bippa Bua Luka. And the track is called Azerit. It's coming out on July 21st, and I've heard it, and it's amazing. But her other music can be found on her Bandcamp page, Apple Music, all the usual suspects. So I will put some of those links in the liner notes, or the episode notes. I should say, no, this is not an album. So enjoy. Without further ado, let's get into it. I want to find out where this music is coming from. So let's start off when you were a kid. What sort of a kid were you when you were growing up? And what kind of a environment did you grow up in?
Hmm. Yeah, good place to start. Um, I grew up in Copenhagen until I was 8, and then we made a big shift and moved from the city to a small island called Fejø, and that's where I am right now. Um, so I feel like my childhood was two chapters. So one in the city and then one in the land here. Um, and maybe it's because I was more conscious from when I was 8 and up until I moved away from home. But I definitely feel that this place, the island here, is my home, or that's my roots. But it's something I'm thinking a lot about roots. Like, where do you come from? And there's also this, it's not only about where were you born, or, it's about uh, f- um, when you look back, it's where you made those roots. So you could have had like 1,000 homes, but one of them might be where you really put your roots to the ground. Um, and that's not for anyone to know or decide. Maybe it just makes sense where you decide to make these roots. So that's definitely here. Well, that was like a frame for my answer. So, thinking about myself as a child, um, I think I've always been um, connected to some other realm when I was younger and a child. Like, um, and I feel like it's some sort of longing for something that is not here and that's not around us. Um, I was a very um, I feel like I did a lot of funny stuff when I was a child, like always putting on a costume and make my parents take photos of me doing things and always creating these uh, kind of tableaus or of with a costume and with some things I could put in the hand. Like have this some sort of like creating a tiny universe around myself as a figure with some kind of costume and background. And so I really like that of creating stills in that sense. Um, yeah.
Was the island that you grew up on or spent some of your childhood on and are on right now, how big is it? How many people are on there?
There's around 400 to 500 people living here. And then there's a lot of houses that we call it summer houses in Denmark, where people go when they have holidays. And yeah, but it's and there's a little school here, and still is. It's very uplifting that it survived so far. So there's a little school and a little kindergarten, and you know, still people living here all year round. And yeah,
Lots of nature, lots of
lots of nature. Yeah.
yeah.
But also a lot of farming. That's something uh, I think that's something we are very aware of in our country right now. Actually, all that farming, um, like conventional farming. Um, but that's like it's beautiful. But when you are aware of what it takes from the land, it's not that beautiful again.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
But we also have a lot of, is it called orchards? Like
Orchids.
apple trees, orchids,
Oh,
like apple
orchard, an orchard.
orchards.
Yes, yes,
Thanks.
yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, good. So yeah, not orchids. Like that's the
Yeah, the
flowers.
flowers,
we don't
yes.
we don't have that. We have a lot of apples, and the rest of Denmark knows this island because of the apples. So it's very beautiful in that sense. And there's of course the sea is surrounding us everywhere.
Sounds idyllic. Sounds
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah.
it is.
So do you think that was a conducive place to sort of, foster an active imagination when you were growing up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely,
Mhm.
definitely. It, and I think that's also why I put my roots here, because it's somehow um connected to, yeah, again, like other realms, because there's enough space for a child to to dive in and out at the same time. There's just a lot of connection when you are able to run freely around and investigate and explore on by your own on
Yeah,
your
yeah,
own as a child. Yeah,
yeah. Sounds incredible.
yeah,
Do you see these other realms as being objective realms or realms that are inside of your head or both?
yeah, yeah. Both. I
Yeah.
mean, um, the more what is that word? The older I get, and the more I read and experience, and I'm starting to see everything in another perspective, and also time. Like I'm starting to feel awkward when I say when I get older and when I was younger, and all these way we try to describe uh, this reality. I'm like, I'm not really buying that anymore. It feels like something else. Like I don't really believe in that way of thinking time, or not that I don't believe it. I get that it's a language, that it's a way of communicating between us humans. We made up this idea of a timeline because that's easier, or that's at least what we did so far, that's something we put it together this way to communicate with each other in a certain way.
Like linear time, like a
Yeah.
beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that makes it possible for us to create narratives and talk about, uh, yeah, our own narratives, maybe on an ego plan, because if that narrative is not existing, then it allows us to get in touch with a completely different perspective on life and ourselves, and without a timeline, why would we feel guilt and stress and all these things? Like they are so attached to the idea of time on a
Mhm.
linear, um, yeah, in a linear form.
I can calendars make a little more sense to me than clocks do. Clocks seem like
Yeah.
they sort of I mean, calendars are more I think that they're trying to map maybe the cosmic, uh, um cycles, like moons, like months used to be
Mm,
more
mm,
attuned to moon cycles. Clocks seem like they're more to synchronize productivity in
mhm.
a Western society to so everybody knows when to show up at work, knows when to eat their meals, it
Yeah, yeah,
seems
for
yeah,
sure.
yes.
But that's interesting. I didn't think about that before because it, I do believe or believe, but I do resonate with cycles. Like cycles is something completely different for me than a linear timeline. Yeah. Okay. Well, I said it. So one thing is round, the other thing is just like keeping on
Yeah,
forever.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in cycles, I mean, that you can see it in nature too. I don't know what if you do you experience all 4 seasons where you're at? Winter and s
I'm just yeah, I mean, this house or this land we bought is only 9 months ago we took over this place, so everything is still so new. It's like every time I go here, I'm like, "Wow, this flower is coming at this time of the year," and yeah, so it's still surprising us.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
sounds great.
nice.
Do you have a way to record music there?
Yeah, that's a thing. So my partner is also a producer, a musician, and we took over this place because there's a big barn, maybe it's called barn with like 100 square meters, and we're building a studio there. So we actually moved all of our sound equipment down here, like, and that is a lot. Like my partner, he's really a collector. He's having like two of every old synth you can
Oh,
imagine, and like two marimbas and two vibraphones, and so it's
yes.
we got a lot.
That sounds like
Uh,
the
s-
Noah's Ark of music, of musician. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So true. So true. I love that picture. Yeah. So we are building that up. I want to say slowly, but I don't really think it's slowly because we are I don't know what's wrong with us, but we have like we really move forward with these things. So but ideally we build it slowly up and it sounds better.
Uh-huh. And do you guys do music together?
Yeah, we did. We did it when we before we got a child. Um, but then like he's only 1.5, so I think the past 2 years has been all about finding new homes and again finding out where's the roots, and yeah, we didn't really play music for a long time. We spent all the energy on building the frames.
Oh, yeah, yeah, of course. Uh,
Yeah.
back to these
Hmm.
other realms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Interesting.
yes, and that's a lot of what we deal with on the other podcast too, and it's always been a curiosity of mine. I feel like I'm sort of spiritually numb in the sense that I'm so open to all of these things, but I feel like I've had so little experience with them. So I'm
Mm.
still in a kind of awakening up mode, and trying to, uh, just be more aware and more sensitive in those areas, but so I love asking people about it. These other realms, I mean, that could go a lot of different directions. There's lots of different hierarchies of spiritual beings, of astral planes, of how did you how what was your experience like of those realms, and did they involve any other beings, or did you have what adults would call imaginary friends, or when really
Mhm,
they weren't
mhm.
imaginary, but
I feel like I can really relate to that you're saying about being a very open person and still not being clairvoyant or telepathic or anything like that, but still be so open and so thirsty on, getting to have these experiences. And I've been thinking a lot about that. And, in some periods, I've been like, why can't I? I'm meditating and I'm doing all these things. Why can't I just suddenly see, like a fairy or,
yeah.
yeah, and and I also see, I think, like 3 different clairvoyant, women that help me, with seeing clear, obviously, sometimes, and I choose between those 3 for different matters. But I've been thinking that I feel like there's different, types of human beings, and I believe that people like me and maybe you are the bridging people, like the people who's here to make a bridge between the people who are very gifted with connecting to other realms, and but also very gifted in communicating them in a way to people who doesn't have the interest or curiosity into this topic. I don't know if you feel the same, but
Oh, totally, absolutely,
yeah,
yeah, and maybe communicating those sorts of things to people who may not even know that they're interested in those. So, like,
yeah,
bridging the extremes between those 2.
yeah,
Yeah, I like that
exactly.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that makes me a little bit more like satisfied or calm about that. Maybe it's not for me to have like a crazy experience
Yes.
from, or maybe it is. Who knows?
Do you feel like you were more open to that stuff, when you were a kid, and it kind of gradually lifted away?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there was some mid part from when I was a child into where I am now, where I got to explore and investigate a lot of other things in the on the physical plane, like, and then I slowly um, opened up again through making music and being aware and spiritual in a way that connects me with my childhood me. So that's again a cycle. Like, and I also see the our human life exactly like that, a cycle of, starting out knowing nothing about this realm, this physical realm, and then maybe knowing a lot about it, and then get to the understanding that we don't need to know everything, and then slowly, go back to where we started somehow. Um, yeah,
Yeah. I can totally relate to that. I think in this, at least I can only speak for the United States, but I think this goes for most of the Western world, where we seem steeped in sort of a scientific materialism. Like, if it can't be weighed or quantified or measured, then it doesn't exist, or it can't be replicated in a laboratory, which I think that excludes most of existence. Like,
Mm.
I think that's such a reductive way of looking at
Mhm.
reality. Um,
It is.
yeah, I think we're slowly moving back towards our collective childhood, fortunately.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, I can totally relate to that. But did psychedelics play any part of that when you were growing up or now?
Um, actually, mm, not until now, I would say. I've been for the first time in my life, uh, um, a couple of months ago, started to microdose some um, psilocybin and some amanita, um,
Muscaria?
muscari, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, and and that's a good way for me to open up this, um, open up that, like the it would be too intense for me to do a full trip, and I was always scared, I think, when I was younger to go into this um, with psychedelics, even though I had a lot of friends doing it, and but I've been always so open that I've had also, I don't know. I feel like I'm very sensitive and open, so I felt that it was too much for me when I was younger.
Mhm. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Um, what, uh, initially made you take notice of music? Is that something you were drawn to when you were a kid, or did that come later?
Yeah, I was definitely drawn to that when I was a kid. And I actually um that's also something I've been thinking about the past weeks. Actually, I was um recalling uh, an interview I did when I released my first record. I think that's 8 years ago or something like that. Um I was interviewed for a little Danish music magazine, and they quoted me afterwards like, uh, "Music is a language I understand and that I can speak," or something like that. And I remember that I felt it was really um, awkward to read that. I was like, "Oh, it seems so simple. Like, why would anyone get something out of that?" And then, but this quote is sticking with me still, and I think about it sometimes. And then lately, I've been thinking about, like, it starts to really resonate with me on another level, because it is really true for me that music is a gift I got. It's a way I got gifted to communicate, and the non-physical. Like that's what um I feel like it's a gift for me. Like I didn't choose it or something. It's just there. It's a way of communicating um without words, and um you know, behind all those frames and forms and things we have in this world, it's a way for me to really communicate what it's all about.
Yeah, no, that's why I love music too. It can take you to places that language could not take you,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. Did you
mm,
formally, um, take music lessons or did go to school for it? Did you just pick it up and
yeah.
start learning it?
Yeah, so I started singing and playing guitar when I was, I don't know, 10, 12 years. Um, but I also rather fast, had this sense of like I didn't have the patience or the drive when it came to learning notes and chords and all this. I got very like talking about languages, like that was not a language for me. Like learning to write music, that's not my thing. And it's been following me, like both in a good and in a bad way, because um in a bad way because in at times it made me feel like I had like low self-worth around music because I thought I wasn't a real musician or allowed to express myself through music if I couldn't read it and write it and go to the conservatory and create music like that. And uh, then I went to a school, like a sound design school, instead of conservatory because I thought that I'm probably not good enough for it, like a music conservatory. So I'm just gonna approach music from another direction. So I worked with sound, and I felt more free. And looking back at it, I would probably have I could have done the conservatory too, um, but at that time I chose another direction because I felt more in in charge of my own musicality that way.
Sure.
Um, yeah, but I also started recording music quite early, like when I was 12,
Oh,
13.
wow.
Yeah, so I recall we had these like Logitech headsets for like the old PC when I was 12, 13, 15 maybe. No, must have been 13. Anyways, so I had that and then I found I think Audacity or something
Oh,
on the
yeah.
computer and then
Uh-huh.
I could layer sounds by recording my guitar in the little mic on the headset at
Oh,
that
wow.
time. So
Uh-huh.
I did that, and so definitely the thing about recording and creating layers and the whole thing uh, was as attractive as sitting with the guitar. Like it was two sides of the same um, expression with music. Yeah.
Do you still have those old recordings?
I don't think so because then we put them onto CDs, and then CDs they disappear.
They disappear, they get scratched up, like,
Yeah,
they were, like, saying they were bulletproof when they first came out,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
These will
but they're
last
not.
forever." It's like, "No, they won't.
No,
You'll lose them in your couch
unfortunately.
cushions." Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like I've found myself in the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years really getting into ambient music.
Hmm.
Um, Ambient music and instrumental music because it conveys such a sense of space. And I don't necessarily mean like outer space, but just like you're listening to it outside or something. It's not like you're listening to it in a closet. And I like that. I like that feeling of freedom, aural freedom that it gives you. And you, I mean, how would you classify your music, or do you choose not to? Which I think is totally an option.
Hmm. No, I think like we've been talking about so far, like we need this, we need words and language to communicate. So fair enough. My music is definitely ambient, but it's more than that, I would say, because I also um, I wouldn't call it jazz because I'm not a jazz musician, but I'm a huge listener of jazz, and that in that sense, I channeled a lot of inspiration through that into my music. Um, um, and I could say that about a lot of genres I'm listening to because everything is, I listen to it and I transform it into my own space. So I think it's an option when you when you choose a genre for your music, like ambient jazz. That's what I go for
Uh-huh.
a lot of the times.
Okay.
Um, and there's also a lot of acoustic elements in it, and it I think it could also be experimental and avant-garde
Sure.
sometimes. Yeah.
Although I when I think of avant-garde, I think of squelchy saxophones, like the noodling,
Oh,
it just
yeah, yeah.
sounds like a bird is being killed or something, but I don't
Yeah.
your music is nothing like
Oh,
that
yeah, okay,
whatsoever.
okay.
Yeah, but, like, it was interesting, like, when I was the other day, I was listening to it to just kind of get more of an idea of your all of your different works on Apple Music, how it was funny how they would classify it, like,
Yeah.
new
Oh, yeah,
age.
new age. Yeah.
Yes, and one was electronic, even though a lot of
Yeah.
the instruments were the
Yeah, yeah,
acoustic
yeah.
guitar. It's like,
But that's actually interesting you mentioning that because I I I got somehow, caught up in that, genre, like electronic music, and then, that's where I started somehow, and I think it had something to do with the agent I was working with, like, for live shows, and, because he got me into that scene, so I've been playing so many electronic music festivals in Europe, and kind of been, I wouldn't say trapped there, but in some ways I've been trapped there because that's where I started out. So I never got into the jazz festivals because somehow it's just like I'm making electronic music. Um, and somehow it makes sense because I really like to nerd machines and how they can work for me and with me. But I also just love very simple stuff, and, I think that's part of my investigation is how, how can I make, like, how can I be on stage in the most naked way, or how can we, yeah, just the work with music and sound and really making the audience also feel connected and alive with me in that room. And if you have too much, the first thing is I never play with a computer on stage. Like that's a dogma I have because that makes me feel very far away from myself and the
sure,
audience.
yeah, because you're
So
just pressing
even
buttons.
I'm pressing buttons, and I
Yeah.
have samplers that I love to work with. Um, yeah,
So at the electronic festivals, you use acoustic instruments? You mic a lot of stuff and
yeah,
huh,
more and more I would say.
cool.
Uh, yeah. And I'm coming out with a new album in, I don't know, it's announced next week,
Uh-huh,
so in July.
cool.
And yeah, and that's I'm I think I'm exploring a whole new uh realm of my
Yeah,
own musicality with that
uh-huh,
one. Yeah, so it's
yeah,
very interesting.
I
I
heard a
would,
little go ahead.
yeah, yeah, I think no one would call that electronic music.
No. I heard a little clip
Yeah,
this morning, actually, I think on Facebook. You posted a little teaser, and it was
yeah, yeah.
yeah, nothing electronic about that whatsoever.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what are they gonna do now?
Yeah. Are they gonna try and box you
Yeah,
in?
yeah, into the electronic music festivals. I don't think so,
Yeah,
but
well,
we'll see.
yeah, aren't there it seems like there should be some sort of a festival for music that doesn't really that like yours, that defies
Mm,
categories. That's more
mm,
maybe, about Uh, God, again, it's kind of hard to articulate it
mhm,
in a concise way, but just I don't know, ambient music of all sorts, whether that be
mm.
acoustic or electronic. It seems like there should be something like that. Perhaps we need to start one. And
Yeah, I was thinking about, I've been thinking about um the genre, soul music. I love that. I love that name. for a genre like that. I feel that would fit my music, but it's already taken. So
Yeah.
we can, and that's something completely different.
Yes.
But yeah, and I feel because so many musicians made this like an ambient exploration the past 5 years, and it's not really ambient anymore. It's not really the right word, like you say. It could be a word that was because ambient is so much about the environment, but it needs something like it needs a core or a heart or a
Yeah,
soul or something
exactly.
in that word, or we need a word that contains a heart as well, or like a yeah,
Yeah. It just I think some people categorize stuff as ambient because it's instrumental and because
yeah.
it's I don't know. Well, but a lot of it seems to be very sentimental, almost like it's a soundtrack for a life insurance commercial or something, or it's
Yeah,
very
that's
or it's very glitchy, like it's
yeah,
like it's
yeah, it's
that's
true.
yeah,
That would be
that's not what I think.
electronic ambient, right?
I guess, but it's things that
Yeah.
take me out of the space of the music, that doesn't really
Mm,
work for me. I like
no.
being able to almost bathe in the music and not have to be brought back to anywhere
Mm,
else, you know? Like,
yeah.
getting sort of lost in it. That's why I like the spatial aspect of it is because you can sort of walk around in it like a
Mm,
forest or something. Yeah.
yeah, true.
Cool. Well, is there any person or any group or any music that you were listening to that nudged you in the direction of wanting to make music yourself? Or did it just
Mm.
come organically?
It definitely came somewhere from within, uh, and then along the way there has been like a lot of um, inspirations. The first thing that come to mind right now is when I started to making ambient music, I didn't even know that it was a genre. Uh, it was just what I could do with my computer when I was 25. I'm 37 now, so I think I started when I finished that sound design school, and I worked on. Uh, I only worked with animation films at that point.
Oh, wow.
I only wanted to do sound for Japanese animation stuff, and
Interesting.
that was my direction. But then I
Huh.
felt like I had under prioritized my own voice, or like my own expression without a film. And then I started on the side to create this first album. I worked as a caretaker for a younger woman that needed help for everything in her daily life. So when she was eating lunch or meeting a friend, I was sitting with my computer and my headphones and making this album. And and I didn't know about ambient music before that. So I made the album, and then afterwards I was like somebody must have done music with this. And then whoa, okay, shit. It's the genre. Yeah.
Cool. Uh,
Mhm.
and then yeah, I think it was, I mean, Eno had a series of albums, ambient ones, 2 and 3 and 4, I think, but it wasn't a genre at that point, but I think that's where I think the idea of that genre was sort of born in those records. Were you ever a Brian Eno listener?
Yeah, I became that very quickly when I got aware that there was so much music that I hadn't been presented to ever before, and then I started listening to all of that. All of that jazz, I was about to say, but
Not
yeah,
really.
yeah. Um, what oh, yeah, but I feel like there's also people before, that, you know, just sat with what they had of electronic equipment and created these scapes you are describing. Um, it's a completely other way to explore music and sound working with ambient, and I think that's also why it's so common right now that every musician wants to make an ambient album, and I really get why, because it's so liberating, and it's so wonderful to work that way. I feel like it's almost as if you become a painter with sound, and I I see why everybody wants to have that experience when they work with sound and music.
Definitely.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I just started sort of collecting synths myself,
Mm,
but it simultaneously happened when I started screenwriting school, which I'm still in right now. So I've got these synths, but I've had no chance to sit down and learn how to really use them in the way that
mm,
they could be used. But
mm,
it's now summer break, and so one of my goals is to sit down with them and kind of get to know them. But I would like to. I released a couple of CDs back in the '90s, not of ambient
mm,
music whatsoever. I wasn't really into that. Well, the '90s were when I started to get into that. The Aphex Twin
mm,
album that came out, that the best of ambient works or whatever,
mm.
that kind of put that on my radar, and that's around the time when I was living in St. Louis when, uh, the rave scene happened. I don't know if yeah, if that ever hit your
Yeah,
part of the world, but I
it
always
did.
liked they had the rave area where there was the lights and the constant boom, 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 but then they had the chill out room, and I was
Mm,
always into the chill out room.
yeah.
Uh, and there was this brief period in St. Louis where actually that became its own separate thing. Like,
Mm,
people would take including me, would take that to bars and coffee shops and stuff like that, and you
mm,
could DJ Eno and Future Sounds of London and all of these global communication, all of these instrumental things, and people would just come and sit and listen to it and relax, which I thought was amazing, but I've
mm.
not heard of anything like that happening, at least anywhere I've lived, for many, many years, but there was a nice little sweet spot when people
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
seem to get it, you know?
I really feel like that's coming back
Yeah,
right now with listening rooms and yeah, definitely. And I've been also playing vinyls, uh, um, ambient vinyl sets. Um, yeah,
yeah, I've
I like
seen
that.
I just, watched one of your DJ gigs, on YouTube, the other day. Really fantastic stuff. I'm glad that it had a list of who you were actually
Oh
DJing
yeah,
'cause, like, I love getting turned on to new music, so I was like,
yeah,
"Okay, I gotta write that down. I gotta write that down." But, yeah,
yeah.
so you do that pretty frequently still, or
Again, the past 5 years I've been, I have 2 kids.
Yes.
But I feel like right now, like the youngest one is almost 2, so I'm slowly opening up again to these kind of mm, yeah,
Yep. Cool.
yeah.
Fantastic. Do you let me see, there's a couple of other questions, and then I will let you go, and I have actually got to get to work myself.
Oh yeah,
Um, what was I going to say? A couple of completely unrelated questions to music, but just things that I'm curious about,
yeah.
when human beings talk. What do you think happens after death?
Um, I think that I think this life in the physical realm is just a short experience taken out of uh, a much greater experience. Um, or maybe not. Maybe this is a great experience, but I think we came from somewhere and now we are um, spirits or souls um, in these bodies. And we can touch things and smell things and then suddenly we go back again to where we came from. I I really do believe that we are all the same and that we are all one arriving from one big energy. Um, and I think we are all just, um, yeah, source energy experiencing ourselves in a physical form. Um, it's hard to, yeah,
Obviously,
hard
you've
to say
you've
in so short.
Sure, exactly. Sum it all up in 2 sentences.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Come on, 1, 2, 3.
so obviously you believe in reincarnation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
for sure. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
It seems
yeah,
like it would be silly not to believe in that. So many
yeah,
stories of kids who remember past
yeah,
lives and yeah, and people have
yeah.
been talking about it for thousands of years, like yeah, what were you gonna say?
But then again, I don't know this of, a past life. Again, that's our way of describing time,
Mhm.
but I see
Yes.
it more as dimensions. I see it. I think everything is happening all at once right now. So I don't see this of me coming back and forth and on this timeline. I just see myself as or us as like vibration in different dimensions at the same time.
So you yeah, and I've heard this by many of the guests on my other podcasts, but that all things are happening simultaneously.
Hmm.
Yeah. That I have a
Yeah.
hard time wrapping my mind around. I believe that, but I believe it's just so mind-blowing for my tiny little monkey
Hmm.
brain that
Hmm.
I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it. Do you have any sort of simple way of explaining that?
I I really feel like I already always had this feeling of everything expanding. Like I feel that like we are uh um, some kind of energy that's expanding a little bit all the time, but not on a timeline, but in space. It's very hard to describe. Um, so
Take your time.
yeah, it's a s- it's a sense. It's a feeling that something like everything can only be like it is. I always had that knowledge inside of myself. Um, Not that we are not free to do uh, different things and think freely and this, but it's something about that things are just unfolding from the same center, um, and it's happening at the same time all the time. Okay, I will not be the person who can describe it to you in a good way.
Hey,
But
I'm collecting pieces
yeah, yeah,
of yeah,
that's the thing.
yeah.
But definitely, the more and more I get a language for this, the more interesting for me it is to see that I always knew this, and now I'm just getting um, more and more information about describing what I already knew. So that's what I feel about a lot of things. It's oh yeah, it's a memory. Like I'm getting connected to a memory. I'm not learning any new things. Um I'm just discovering what I already knew when I came here. That's pretty clear to me. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it seems like the realm of, physicality is sort of almost like a closed system in the sense that and yet
Mm,
people
yeah.
come in and out of it,
Yeah.
and we're in it
Yeah.
right now, and
Yeah. So much.
it's so convincing to think that 1, this is all there is.
Mm.
2, it's everything is so important. Like,
Mm.
we've gotta place so much importance on all of this stuff that really doesn't matter in the
Mm.
big picture. Um, when really I think it's just because we've momentarily lost track of the bigger outside
Mm.
of that, everything that exists outside of that, and inside of that for that matter. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, but and when that is said, I think that um that we really want to be here. Like we really want to have this experience of contrast and of stress and of things we cannot do because we think we cannot do it. And we really want to be here. Like that's why we're here. It's not just a ridiculous realm and we're just gonna finish it fast and die and get back to the light. It's not like that. Like we really want to be here because what we can do in this realm is so unique and it's so special for us. As if we imagine that we are these or this big energy and spirits floating around in other realms, and then we get the opportunity to come into this bubble you're talking about and experience life from this perspective. We are also we are here because we can create within this realm. That's what I believe, and that's what I find meaning in for myself. Is that we all of us chose to come in here to expand again, to expand this um, um, the wisdom of the world, and we do that by creating music and saying things in a new way and making stupid cheap shit that we ship all around the world. And we do a lot of stupid things. Maybe you can see it as stupid, but somehow it's just exploring this realm. Like everything is how, and that's for all of us. Like everybody is here and we are exploring how can we expand this realm with our creativity.
Yeah, I like it. I recently heard speaking of Brian Eno, heard an interview with him the other day, and he has just put a new book out, something like Why Do We Make Art or something like that, but
Mm.
he describes it as something that's highly unnecessary, and that's why it's such a special thing. That's why it's so important because we don't have to do that. We don't have to
Mm.
make art. We have to eat, we have to do other things, but we don't have to make music or make art. So when we do that, that's like a special act of, I don't know. I mean, you could look at it lots of different ways, kindness, or you're
Yeah,
adding something.
but it's only within that understanding of the capitalistic system that that of what you're saying, because um I mean, it's only in that system that it doesn't make any sense to make art. But if we go even, zoom a little more out, I would say that that's why we are all here to
Yeah,
create something.
exactly.
Um, and it doesn't really matter if we eat or not. Like we eat to be able to make art. We eat and drink to be able to create because that's what keeps us into this physical realm for the longest time. We found out of that, if we eat and treat ourselves good, we will have a long life and we will have a longer time to express and expand. Yeah.
Yes, and that's the exact point that he ended up at, was that
Woo.
yes, yeah, so, yeah, you get it, you totally get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, one more non-music question, but it's all connected, so, dreams. Do you ever get
Mm.
influenced by dreams, and what do you think that dreams are?
Yes, I think that dreams are our opportunity to actually wake up. So, um, everybody dreams, or you know, we can dream when we sleep, and when we start to see that dreaming during the night is the same as living our lives awake, um, we can approach life in another way. Um, so I think that life is a dream itself. If we talk about this of being out in this non-physical realm, and then we go into the physical realm, that is like a dream. We go into that realm, and we are here. and then the dreams for us in this physical realm is our opportunity to be aware of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so it's just a little small hint from the non-physical to let us wake up in our lives. So every night we have the opportunity to be awake in the dream and wake up in the physical realm and be aware that we can we can do much more than we thought.
yeah. I love it. Have you ever had a lucid dream?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. It's been years since I've had one, but it was really there was, like, a little time in my life where I was having clusters of them, and I
Wow.
yeah, I always forget to wake up in dreams. I have for years and years and years, but it was really, really wonderful. I found myself wanting to just, uh, d do everything that I could in a realm where physical laws had no say. So I wanted to
Wow.
fly and walk through
Mm,
material objects, and it was really yeah, it was amazing.
yeah.
Do you still do it, or was it something that you've done in the past?
No, it's recently. It's recently. I think last summer I had this amazing dream where I was um yeah, I just woke up and I ran around in the city and was looking for a person who was called Franco. and I woke up and I was like, I have to find this person called Franco. And then a couple of months later, there was like a listener of Ambient Abracadabra, my radio show,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
that yeah, and he was called Franco, and I was writing to him that maybe you are this person I was I was running around to find in my lucid dream. Yeah, but
Did they seem to think that?
um, I feel like we are really I feel his music is really connecting with me
Oh, cool.
in a very special way actually.
Nice.
So definitely some connection there. I don't know why and how and what, but yeah.
Were you gonna say something before I interjected?
Oh, no, I forgot.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
I forgot to bring up your show. Please mention that
Yeah.
before yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when we were talking about the word ambient
Yes.
because I have a radio show called Ambient Abracadabra. And I tried with that combination of the two words to create something more like a sense of something more than just ambient with the word, abracadabra is a magical word for me. It is probably is a magical word or kind of like a spell. Um, I don't know. I like those two words together. But it's a radio show I've been creating for the past 4 years, I think. And it's sending. It's one time every month on NTS. It's a British independent radio station. Um, and I love how the concept for me developed over time because when I got back from maternity leave 1 year ago, um, I felt like something new was going to happen with the show because I've been playing vinyls for a long time, and then I've been having guests to play vinyls with me, and yeah, I just felt like I couldn't keep on playing the same vinyls on that show. And then I came up with the idea like I wanted to invite my listeners to send all their unreleased music, for example, or music they feel they deserves more uh, uh, um, airing.
Recognition. Yeah,
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 airtime.
recognition,
Yeah, yeah.
airtime,
Uh-huh.
exactly. And then when I invited people to do that, I got so much music, and it was amazing. Like it's kind of like a cycle because all these people they've been listening to the show for maybe a couple of years, so they know what I like, or they know what filter I am. I see myself as a filter in this. I have a taste, and then I listen to a lot of music, and then I filter out what I think is of my taste, or that's
Yeah, yeah.
my filter. Or,
Uh-huh.
I'm not discriminating any kind of music or anything, but so that's just amazing, and people send me all of their wonderful music, and some people I can hear have no experience in producing. They've just been expressing sound somehow, and sometimes I get like a mono file of something, and a person who's been, I don't know how, and I love when I cannot tell how people made up what they did. When it's surprising and full of secrets. And I just, yeah, listen to a lot of very interesting music, and then put all the shows together like this.
Nice.
Um,
And
yeah,
there's a place on the website where you can upload your music, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's,
And
mm,
no, please go ahead.
yeah, on my website, you can upload music for the show. Yeah,
Is this something that you can listen to, like a podcast, or can you download the episodes of the radio show?
no, I think you have to be either you can pay NTS and be a supporter, and that supports my show and all the other hosts' work, and then you have access to the music all the time and all the shows all the time, um, or you can just listen for free. And I don't know what's how I don't know really how it works, but it's only through that channel or
Okay,
that radio
cool.
station.
Yeah, well, I'll check it out for sure, and I will upload at some point once I get my synths up and going and start
Yes.
making music.
Wow.
Uh,
Looking
okay.
forward for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to making it too. I can't wait, actually. It's just a matter of time. Like, maybe I could just go to sleep with a synth and make it in my while I'm dreaming or something, but,
You can. Definitely.
yeah. Um, okay, so well, first of all, what are some new projects? You say you have a new album coming out, right?
Yeah.
And where can people get that or listen to it or
Um, it will be on every streaming platform. And then it's a label called Stroom or Stroom. It's a Belgic. It's called that from Belgium.
Oh, yeah, mhm,
It's a label from Belgium.
okay,
Um, and we will also sell vinyls.
nice,
Um, yeah,
cool, and you're on Bandcamp too, I would imagine?
yeah,
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 cool.
exactly.
Uh,
Bandcamp.
and where, would you like to steer people? Where can people find your work and keep up with what you're doing?
I think Instagram is the channel I use the most right now. Um, yeah, and they can find me on. Yeah, you can maybe share what it is.
Yeah, maybe send me all of the links that you would like me to include, including your
Yeah,
website and the radio show and stuff like that, and I'll just put them in
yeah,
the episode notes.
I will.
Fantastic. Sophie, fantastic meeting you.
Yeah,
Uh,
you too, Chris.
yeah, the creator of the music is just as interesting as the music is, and it doesn't surprise me that you are coming from the mental space that you are to create such otherworldly, sublime sound, so I love it. I look forward to
Thank
more.
you.
Yeah, and, I will probably intersperse some of the new music, maybe some
Yeah,
of the old music too, but in this throughout this episode when I release it, so
yeah. Let's check in on that, and I can send you all the files you need
okay,
and what we think fits.
wonderful. Alright, and I
But
will when this what were you gonna say?
yeah, just thank you so much for
Oh,
having
yeah.
me. And I have to tell you that I'm trying to manifest getting the opportunity to talk more like this
Oh,
on
good.
podcasts. So I was really happy you reached out, because I really want to talk about topics like this, and it's it's not everybody who knows that you want to talk about these topics. So when you reached out, I was like, "Oh, that's good." Like, I'm a good place now on my journey where also people who doesn't know me knows that I'm probably into stuff like this. So that was just nice to experience that. Okay, I'm in the right direction now because I definitely want to talk more about all of these topics. There's so many things we can talk about.
Absolutely,
But
and we should definitely do this again, so
yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yes.
Thank you so
Uh,
much, Chris.
of course. Yeah, I
Yeah.
went when I was doing a little research before this, I was looking for interviews of you, and I couldn't find anything. It's like,
No,
what is
it's
going on
because
here?
I do, instrumental music. They think I cannot talk, but then I started talking on my own shows, and that's part of my opening up. Um, Also, I have to before we stop, I have to mention that you share really some similarities with the man who lived in this house before.
Interesting. Huh,
Very interesting. Just when
huh.
you popped up on the screen, I was like, "Wow, okay." He reminds me of Mick. He was called. He was from England, uh, because I also knew him from when I was a child. Yeah, so that was kind of like a mirror, and you were there in this living room, and yeah, very
Oh,
nice.
doppelganger. Yes, I'm
Exactly.
I'm definitely of English and Scottish stock, so
Yeah,
that's very
you
possible. Maybe
see,
we're related in some way.
yeah, definite.
All
Some
right, Sophie.
dimensions there. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll do this again, but, when I get this episode done, I will send you the links, and you can post it wherever you'd like, so all right,
So good, so
take
good.
care,
You
and,
too, and have a lovely day. And
yes,
yeah,
yeah, we'll talk again.
and say hi to your family.
I will do that.
Yeah, good.
Yes, likewise to yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. All right.
Bye.